Can I ask you something? Right now, what is the one thing you would do with yourself if you had an extra 3 hours this week? No kids, no work, nobody else, just you. I want you to actually think about this for a second because I used to not even believe that I'll be able to answer this question. I had completely lost sight of myself. I had actually been constantly on, constantly available. That was the deal. And you could only shut down when it was like time to sleep. That's the only time I was shut down, when it was time to sleep. I thought that this was what it meant to be a mother, a professional, a woman who was trying to get things done. And today, I want to show you how it doesn't have to be that way. Stay with me. You are listening to Anxious for Nothing with Bimpe, where together we overcome struggles with people-pleasing and perfectionism so that we can truly value ourselves and create time to progress in all areas of our lives. I'll be sharing with you my personal experience using agile IT systems for prioritization, especially when family, work, life, health, finances and our faith all collide into one. And most importantly, how to affirm our faith and identity in Christ during the storm, not just after it passes. Join me. This is time management like you've never known it before. Let's get started. Thank you so much for your time. I'm genuinely happy for you to be here. If you're new, welcome. My name is Bimpe, and each week I share simple practical action which you can take to move you forward. No fluff, no noise, just exactly what works and what has worked for me. If you are a returning listener, thank you. Thank you so much for your time and your loyalty. If you've not already done so, please do subscribe on the listening platform that you're on, and comment, leave a review, and this will help others find this content and let me know what is useful. And because I do read everything. So here's where we are. All this month we have been on a journey together through April Reset. We started by acknowledging what the actual problem was, and being tired all the time was not normal, and that it's something that we just shouldn't have to accept. It's not something that we should accept. And then I shared a system with you that I personally use, that I've created myself. And then last week we talked about how to say no. Abby, being able to say no is one of the biggest contributors to getting back your time, your energy and your peace. If you missed that episode, I encourage you to go back and listen to it. It will change things for you. But now we are here. We have those 3 hours back. And today's question is one that you probably had on your mind all month. What are we going to do with the time that we've got back? So can I ask you, is there something like you really love to do for yourself? Something that you've been putting off, maybe for months or even for years? Can you visualize yourself there doing that thing? Reaching out, feeling what it feels like to actually have it, to actually attain it. I mean, you might think that it is not possible, but I want you to hold on to this year. Hold on to that thought. All things are possible to those who believe. Remember that. And today I'm going to share with you the blueprint to actually achieve it. Not in one day, but in a way that you can start right now. So I know you can identify with this. Keeping all the plates spinning so that nobody will be let down. That was the deal I had made with myself. So I had the mindset of being everything to everyone. Not wanting anything to drop, trying to juggle everything. Keeping all the plates spinning. Not wanting to let anybody down. And that was a deal that I had made with myself. So my middle son, he had a game with a team in Manchester. That game meant a lot for him, and the coach had changed the time at the last minute of when we were meant to meet, and we missed the coach. So I made a decision to drive to the midpoint where the coach would normally take a break, and that was a 2-hour drive. And I did that so that my son could go with his team, and he did, and he got on that coach, which was great. But I was stuck in a car park trying to get out for another hour. And then it was a 2-hour drive back from that point home. My middle son thankfully had scored the only goal for his team that day. So that was a win for him. He was really happy that he went. And I could not get out of the car when I got home. By the time I got home, I was crawling up the stairs in constant pain. My whole nervous system had just shut down. I was really concerned and worried that, I don't want my life to be like this going forward. I want you just to stay with me here for a second, because this wasn't just a one-off bad day. This was a result, an accumulation of months of being everything to everyone and not really creating time for myself, or treating rest like something that you had to earn. But in the end, my body ended up having to pay the bill. I remember lying there thinking for the first time that something truly has to change. I cannot go on like this, because I knew the person that I wanted to become. I wanted to become a runner, free from pain. I wanted to be able to walk to the airport, and without dreading every step, because I was thinking, I want to be able to travel. And when you're traveling, you're in the airport, you have to do lots of walking. And I thought, you know what, I don't want to be dreading having to walk. I want to find a community of women, faith-based women that are excited about investing and not scared to talk about money, that are also crazy about travel and love experiences in life. And then I thought, with this back pain, how is this going to happen? And then from that rock bottom moment, I decided to build a system. It wasn't a perfect one, but it was a real one. Then I went from crawling up the stairs to running 5K. And today I want to hand you the system in a way that will actually make sense to you and to your life. Your story might not be as dramatic as mine, but I hope not, by God's grace. But the principle is the same. Getting back time for yourself, whether it's be to improve yourself for travel, for skills, or to start a business, or just simply to be well, it is important. But what is even more important is how we use that time. We need to use that time intentionally, because anything we do not fill with purpose or with intention is going to get filled by something else. So we need to be deliberate about how we use these extra 3 hours that we've gained. So let me show you the framework. There's actually research that supports what I have experienced. Studies constantly show that people who have set specific and honest goals that are grounded in where they actually are, not where they wish to be, are more significantly likely to achieve and sustain them. There's this verse in Proverbs 4:26 that says, "Ponder the paths of your feet and let your ways be established." So we need to really think about where we are right now. Where is our feet on right now? And what do we want to establish? What future do we want to create for ourselves? So step 1, understand your current situation and be honest. This is foundational, because if you start from where you are not, you are going to be building on something that is unstable, and you end up disappointing yourself because you started from a place that is not correct. Sometimes this means doing an actual audit, because where you think you are and where you actually are may be two different things. For example, if your goal is financial, you need to actually look at where you are spending your money, not where you think you are spending your money. And if your goal is time, sit down and look at how you are generally spending your time. Where is it being used, and not where you think it's going? This is the first part of the process. I know it's tedious. I will not lie to you, but it is crucial. It is the difference between building on something that will last and will sustain you over the 6 months, or building on a foundation of sand. Step 2, get specific on what good looks like for you specifically. Decide who you want to become. Not just what you want to do, but who you want to become. For me, it was a runner, free from back pain. That was my specific picture. What is yours? Is it a woman who travels freely, who has a second income, who has the energy to be present with her children without running on empty, or who is finally able to invest in her own growth? Get specific, because vague goals produce vague results. Step 3 is bridge the gap. In project management, we call this a gap analysis. You look at where you are right now and where you want to be, and you map out exactly what it's going to take to get you from one place to another place. Then critically, you need to ask yourself, what steps do I need to take to get there? But not only just to get there, but to stay there and to grow from there. Who do you need to become? What do you need to get there? What do you need to stop doing to make space? This is why being honest about where you actually are, your starting point, matters so much. You cannot close the gap if you're not measuring truthfully. And here is one thing about the gap. It can feel enormous. Between where I was crawling on the floor and running 5K, the gap felt impossible. But you do not close it all at once. You close it with one honest decision at a time. So before I go into our action for today, I want to take a moment to tell you about something that I have built with the time that I have reclaimed for myself. And it has changed my life in the ways that I didn't expect. When I talk about wanting a community of women that understand rest, love travel, and are excited about investing and are not scared to talk about money, I'm not just describing a dream. I'm describing the community I am actually building through my travel business. I became a home-based travel agent working with the most awarded agency in the UK for home-based travel, and I did not expect that there was a community that came with it. Faith-based, ambitious, fun-free women who understand that rest is not laziness, it's a strategy. Women who plan their next trip the same way that they plan their next investment. If you've been listening to me today and thought, I know exactly what I would do with those 3 hours, and somewhere in that vision is travel, income, or community with women like you, I want to hear from you. DM me the word travel on TikTok or Instagram and let's have a conversation. No pressure, no pitch, just a conversation between women who are building something real. That is my travel business. Now let's get back to your action step. So here is your one action for this week. Now that you have 3 hours back, I want you to do an audit on one area of your life where you want transformation. Just one area for now. Do not try to do everything. And if you're not sure where to start, I suggest you begin with your money. Specifically, I want you to do this. How much are you sending home? And is the person that you're sending home to, are they improving as a result? Now compare it to the figure to how much you've invested in your own personal growth this year. That comparison alone will be an eye-opener for us because the results are going to show the evidence. And from that evidence, you can make a decision. Who do you want to be? And what decisions do I need to make to support that person that I want to be? Sit with it honestly because that's where your transformation is going to start. Thank you for listening. When you're ready, reach out and we can work together. This month has been something special. April was our reset, and I genuinely hope that you've been able to use the 4 episodes to shift something and create space for yourself and to reclaim more time for yourself. If you feel like you've missed the foundation, go back and listen to the last 3 episodes and get the full game plan. And most importantly, execute. Information without action is just information. Please share this episode with a friend or family member who would benefit from hearing it and pass it on. And next month, we stop resetting and start building. May is about momentum, practical steps to turn your time that you've reclaimed into something that actually changes your life. And I'm excited. I do not want you to miss it. I look forward to seeing you next week. I am Bimpe, and remember, you are anxious for nothing.